Alright, alright. Let's see if we're working. We'll go check the YouTube. To the refresh. To the wall. Yep, there we go. Alright, we're working. Cool. We got sound? Sound? Yep, we got sound. Alright. We got everything. So, today, I've been wanting to do some Cursedcity. So I've been playing around a little bit with it. I'm working on some of the models. None of them are done yet, but just trying to get some ideas down, trying to get how I want them to look. Stuff like that. So we'll walk through these guys, talk about them a little bit. First off, one of my friends is getting out of the hobby. So he... Oh, this brush is dead. Sad. He basically sold me all of his stuff, all of his hobby stuff, so I now have a bunch of models and stuff. Personally, I would have preferred he just stay in the hobby so he could play with his stuff, but it's better than him just throwing it away or giving it away, so I figured I would help out and pick it up for him. One of the things that he threw in was all his painting supplies. I was going through his other stuff earlier, actually looking at the models and stuff, and it was very interesting, but very sad. There's a couple of moments where I had to sort of take a break and chill, but I figured people would get a kick out of looking at a bunch of weird stuff, and going through paints was not super sad, so I just thought we'd see what we got. This is his paint hobby bag. I just thought we'd look at see what's in here. So we've got some ground texture, and we've got some water texture. I've actually never used either of these. I actually don't know what they're like at all, so that's kind of neat. Oh, that one's sealed. Okay. I'm guessing this is just some kind of paste. Definitely cool to try. I've actually never used. This is some kind of like pumice stone paste, I'm assuming. Oh, also sealed. Okay. But yeah, I'm assuming this is some kind of like sandy pumice stone base. So that's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to try those out. Seraphim Sepia. Ironically, I've actually never used Seraphim Sepia. So that's actually pretty cool. We got our Model Master Paint. This is the best, or glue. This is the best glue ever. I love this thing. We got some nippers. They're not terrible. They do look like anvil and slicing side, which is not bad. Grunter fur. I also don't have that color, so that's pretty cool. Airbrush flow improver, not particularly useful at the moment. Gunmetal, this is always great to have. I love this color. Uniform gray, also an awesome color. Glorious gold. Ooh, that's really cool, actually. Yeah. What is this? Scale color flat black. Ooh, that's also cool. I've never used that either. Desert yellow. So yeah, it's definitely neat because like you sort of get in a rut of buying certain paints and stuff. So it's neat to see sort of like what someone else picked up, right? Because honestly, besides the gunmetal, I haven't pulled a single thing out of this bag that I've actually ever used before. So it's kind of cool. Same thing with this green shade. Never used that. Or what is this? Scale color brass. It's kind of neat. Kraken skin. This is the best color ever. I love this color. Warpstone glow. Also another great color. Let's see. Armageddon dunes. I actually need that, so that's really handy. Nolan oil. Everyone needs Nolan oil. You can never have enough Nolan oil. Contrast warp lightning. Another super good color. Contrast Dark Angels green. it's just really super dark contrast green. That's cool. Don't have that. Aethermatic blue. I never have enough of this color. This is the base color I use for my Necrons, so it's super good to have. Blood Angels red. I actually been using this, ironically, on the Cursedcity stuff, so super useful. Rat skin flesh. What the hell color is this? It's like an orangey pink. Weird. Okay. I didn't even know that was a GW color. Griffon orange. This is a nice color. Do you like this one? Ooh. Peridot, alchemy, metal and alchemy. That's actually super freaking cool. Look at that. It's like a gold kind of blue kind of shifty color. That's an awesome color. Megos purple. I actually needed a contrast purple, so that's perfect. Basilicanum gray. This is also a perfect color to have because I'm actually using that on the Cursedcity stuff. Alien purple. This is a good purple. Mutant hue. Also good. Rough Arn. This is a nice color. It's a very like browny metal kind of color. Chainmail silver from Game Inc. From Vallejo. A game color. That's nice. Never used that before either, so that's pretty cool. Apothecary white. This is one of the best contrast colors out there. Using it just to shade white and get some tonal difference in it. It's not exactly white, it's gray, but if you put it on very thin, basically it will just fill in the creases in your white, and it is phenomenal. It's what I use on all my white. It gives it a nice bit of tonal difference. Achillean green, I have no idea what color this is. Looks like a blue. Yeah, it doesn't look green at all. That looks like a blue. That's cool though. Black Templar. This is also one of the best contrast colors. Phenomenal color there. Ultramarine blue. This looks like it has something mixed in it, to be honest, because this is behaving very weirdly. I've never used this. I know it's supposedly a pretty good blue, but I've never used it. Slaneshian gray. That's like a purple gray. I also don't have that. That's cool. Fenrisian gray. This is like a blue gray. I also don't have that. I do like Fenrisian gray though. It's a good one. Shyish purple contrast. I guess this is like a super dark purple. Interesting. Man, a lot of contrast paints. Golem and Flesh, this is a really nice flesh tone. Skeleton Horde, also phenomenal contrast paint. Wow, man, I've got like all the contrast paints now. This is cool. Volupus Pink. That's pretty rad, actually. I'm actually have some ideas for that already. More basing stuff. Fantastic to have. Stop, thank you. Babe Blonde. It's like a neon yellow. That's cool. Let's see. Oh, contrast medium. I actually don't have any of that. That's pretty cool. Game Ink Red. This is a really, really nice bright red. But like most inks, it's a little runny. Runefang Steel. That's GW silver color. Plague Bearer Flesh. This is a really nice yellow green kind of color. I use this for all of my Nurgle zombies. Wolf Gray. Army Painter is just a blue gray. It's a nice color. Pale Skin from Scale Color. That looks really nice. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then we have I have no idea how to say that name. but it's like a reflective pink. How do you the fuck is this called? Alquama turmalina? Turmalinina? I don't know. It's neat though. It's like a kind of reflective pink. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I have no idea what I'll do with that, but it's definitely weird and neat. Fulgrim pink. This is a great color. It's a standard GW pink. Scale color white. I heard that's really, really nice. Has good coverage, but I've never used it. Oak brown. This is the color I use for all my leather, so that's really nice to have. Lead belcher. Just standard gunmetal from GW. Leather brown. And then the last one is Ink Tense Red. Yeah, that's kind of watery. You can see it sloshing around in there. It's just really, really, really bright red. Then there's some mixing pipettes and bits and bobs in the bottom. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. So these are all the colors that my friend was using when he was painting. And I'll definitely work some of them in to sort of my paintings. Some of them are just replacements for colors that I already really love. Some of them are stuff I've never heard of before, but it's really, really neat. Especially I don't use any of the scale color colors. Is it this one? No, it's this one. This is a super cool color. I'm actually super anxious to try that out on something. So that's really cool. Alright, so let me get these. I really need a second paint thing, man. So I have a really tiny little, it's not tiny, it holds a ton of paint, and I just never put them back. But I have a paint rack. I could really, really use a second one. I should get a second one so they stop taking up space on the desk. Alright, these are all the GW pots. I'm going to put these back in the bag. Because the GW pots honestly just take up so much fucking room. I wish they sold them in dropper bottles. Technically you would get less paint, but you would have better usage of it, so you would end up with more technically. So yeah, just a neat little thing looking at the paints I got in that bag from my friend. Alright. So we're gonna do some Cursedcity painting. We're gonna look at what we got already. I will highly recommend this stuff. This stuff is phenomenal. It's like the new Mountain Dew energy drink. It's like 24 calories. It's phenomenal. Like, it tastes so fucking good. It's like kind of bitter. Perfect. Alright, so let's look at what we got done so far. So, I have the Ogre Hero mostly done. I want to do a little bit more work on his skin. Just because it's a little brown, I want it to have a little bit of tinge red in it. You can see some of the washes are a little heavy on the skin and stuff. So he's going to get a couple little detail paint still. I'm going to take my ring off so I don't get any paint on it. So he's going to get some detail work still here and there. But he's pretty much done. I'm pretty close to being done. And then we have some Skelly Bones. So the Skelly Bones are a multi phase thing to paint. So I painted their robes, I painted their bones, and then all their armor and weapons were done in silver. And then I went back, hit that with a red contrast. But honestly, it was too close to the cloth. This is what it looks like. So I wanted to dark it down some. So I hit it with a darker contrast paint just to drop it down. And now it's kind of got this like red, black kind of look to it with a little bit of shine. And I super think that looks really cool. Especially for like vampire infantry. So they're pretty much all done. I have a couple guys that I didn't get to yesterday who need their black armor, and we can actually knock that out first. So this is Shining Silver from Army Painter as the base, And then it is Blood Angels Red as the armor. And then over top of that, we're using Basiculum Gray. Because this is pretty much as dark black as I could get without getting Black Templar. So we'll go ahead and we'll knock these guys out. So we started a little early today, and then we'll move on to something new. I think we're gonna pick out the color palette for zombie, and get them looking pretty nice. Just get some ideas for sort of how we want them to look and stuff. And do that, I think, is what we're going to do today. So to do that, we're going to look at the range of the zombies, and then we're going to pick out the pieces and the colors that we're going to have on them. So, and then we'll start getting some of them in. Normally when I paint zombies, I build a custom mix of Typhus Corrosion and contrast paint. That's how I paint all my poxwalkers and all my plague bearers and stuff. I'm not going to do that for these zombies because they're not Nurgle zombies. They're just sort of like resurrected zombies. So I'm not going to paint them the same way I would paint a Nurgle zombie. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So we're not going to do that. So you can see I'm just trying to get pretty good coverage on this contrast paint. I'm not looking for 100% perfectly even coat, right? Like I want some variation in the armor color with the red underneath. That's sort of the goal here. I don't want it to just be like, this is gray now. I want it to have this kind of different surface to it. That's what I want it to do. So that's what I'm doing. I think it makes them look pretty interesting, in my opinion. So yeah, I could hit the shields, but I kind of like the shields still being silver. I think it looks pretty nice. So we're gonna have to paint one detail on the boss guy. I'm gonna have to paint a little bit of details for him still, because I forgot to do them before. And as I just glanced over and saw him, I saw the missing details. So we're gonna have to paint those in. But yeah, my friend's getting out of the hobby. He's the guy that I met the first time watching a game. Having a little bit of a rough time that day. My husband was going to go see his father, who was terminally ill. So I dropped my husband off at the airport that day. And I really didn't want to go home and be alone because I didn't have my dog yet. He was still with my parents. This is literally like the second week of us being out here in Hawaii. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the hobby store, right? That's what I used to do in Maryland to relax. There was a hobby store called Third Eye Comics, which is anytime I felt rough after work or whatever, that's where I'd go. And my husband at that time was working nights every night, so I would, if I was having a bad day, I would just go to Third Eye Comics and buy a Gundam or something, just to relax. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do something similar out here in Hawaii. Like it's like my second week here, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the hobby shop. I'm having a bad time. I'm gonna just go and look at some models and debate picking some stuff up and whatever. And Chris and his friend James happened to be playing Kill Team, which is what I was interested in getting into. So I was like, all right, can I watch you guys? And he was like, yeah, of course. So I sat down and watched my first game of Kill Team, and it was really good, and that's how I got hooked, and that is how I met my friend who is getting out of the hobby now, and that's why I'm here. Still painting and still doing all this stuff, But that first game was watching the first game was a big deal, you know? It was really, really good. You know, and it was at a really, really rough time where I was definitely not feeling good. So, you know, meant a lot to me. You know, so it's a little rough to see my friend getting out of the hobby, considering it's sort of like the thing that we kind of bonded over. So, but it's okay. You know, everyone has different routes that they gotta take and different things they gotta do, and you know, different paths in life and stuff, and that's cool, right? Like you can't expect everybody to stay the same. You can't expect everybody to you know, not change or wanna do different stuff and all. You know, that's insane if you want stuff just to stay the same all the time. So, but you know, it's I'll definitely miss him in the hobby. He's also moving, so probably won't get to see him a lot. So yeah, I've got all of his stuff downstairs. I'm sort of going through it and figuring out projects for it, and a lot of it is bits. I need to clip off the runners and you know, put them into my bits box. There's a lot of really cool bits in there. That's for sure. I'd rather him keep those bits for himself, but you know, it is what it is. You know, there's some cool stuff in there. Got some cool ideas for it. Got some Imperial Guard bits with their bags and stuff, and there's some Skaven bits in there, so I'll be able to convert up some more Gene Stealer Cult. And yeah, he had some Gene Stealer Cult, so I'll get them ready to play. Get them moved into my Gene Stealer Cult army. I'm gonna have a second one of those Gene Stealer Cult trucks, which is pretty cool. They're like big, heavy ones. They're cool. So I'll get that all painted up to go with my other Gene Stealer Cult trucks, and yeah, stuff like that. My Slanesh Demons has drastically expanded. He had a lot of Slanesh Demons. He was like the main thing he was playing at the end there. By the time I knew him, he had a lot of different armies, but the main thing he was playing at the end was Slanesh Demons. So a lot of Slanesh Demons, and a lot of Demons of Tzeentch as well. So that's pretty cool. So there's some Demons of Tzeentch and some Slanesh Demons and stuff, so I'll be expanding both his armies out, which is pretty cool. If ever I'm like, this is going to be my main army, I'll definitely have a really good start on it now, so that's cool. Sorry, I don't know. My brain is like, you should talk about this, but it makes me sad. So maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just focus on other stuff. I don't know. You know, but he's my good friend still. You know, he's not gone or anything like that. He's just gonna be moving and getting out of the hobby, and it's cool. And I'm just, you know, trying to make sense of everything that he's sort of passed on. There's some Gits in there, which is really cool. I think I will turn those into a full Git army, which is really neat. Yeah. So there's his armor. Hello! I'm painting Cursedcity and being sad. I shouldn't be being sad, but I am. Alright, so let's look at the details that I missed on this guy before. I missed his eye patch, and I also want to touch up his hair. So we're going to grab some brown for his eye patch. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a sad thing when friends, you know, they want to do other stuff and all. Like, I think that you know, makes everybody sad and makes sense and all. But you know, it's still very hard. especially as this is sort of what we bonded over and stuff. Like, you know, looking through all his stuff. Like, funny thing is, like, I have a ton of memories with all the models that I got. You know, like seeing his broken, his stupid broken Mangler Squig or his Baneblade and stuff like that. You know, seeing all those, you know, it brings those memories back to me, which is good. You know, so all that stuff's not forgotten, and I'm just gonna get it turned into something super cool. You know, not gonna be sad about it. Gonna just make something rad out of it instead. That's what I'm choosing to do. All right. Let's touch up his hair just a little bit so we can pull it out so it stands out from the skull a little bit. So when I hit it with the wash, it sort of graded or browned it all together. A little bit more than I wanted it to. Just gonna touch up some of it. Just like that. So that the hair will stand out a little. We're just gonna do the same thing on the back. You know, not trying to like fully paint it over again, just a little bit of like highlighting, a little bit of bringing it up so it stands out from the skull, which is a little more yellow. Just like that. So that's going to be our first named villain for Warhammer Cursedcity. And he's going to lead his Skeleton Legion, who are all also painted, which is super, super cool. Alright, so I've got a zombie here. And I've got some other characters that I've started working on. As my idea for this is that I will probably start playing as soon as I have 4 named characters painted. Because it gives me, you know, there's a lot of models in these boxes, and I don't want to rush painting them all. You know, I want to do a good job on them. I want to take my time and enjoy it, you know. So you know, I'll probably just start painting when the 4 main heroes are painted. So my first team is going to be this crazy cult lady, the ogre, the vampire hunter, and the dwarf. So they're all going to be they're in my first party. And when we play, we're actually going to be playing a modified version of the game. We're not going to be playing the standard according to the standard rules, because I want to talk about removing stressors from play. I think it's very important to do that, and to understand the different kinds of stress you can put onto a player, and what impacts they have. And some of the design choices in Cursedcity are sort of like anti-fun, in my opinion. They're not very fun. So we're just going to remove them, right? And that's one of the powers of a tabletop game over like like playing a video game or something like that, where you can't do that. You know, you don't have access to that code base. You can't set your own rules. You can't change it. But in a tabletop game, you can, right? It can be like, I don't like this mechanic, so I'm not going to do it. Or I really like this mechanic, so I'm going to double down on it. Stuff like that. And that's just what we're going to do. We're going to make a couple of changes, and I'll talk about that in our first game. And then when we play it, some stuff, you know, it might be a little janky. Some stuff might work really well. Some stuff might not. See, there are a couple of sort of like catcha, sort of like cheating anti-rolls in Cursedcity, with the idea of it being a sort of continuous board game, or a continuous kind of thing. There are some rolls relating to that kind of stuff. And honestly, I don't. If you're gonna cheat at a board game that you're playing with your friends, just fuck off, right? Like, I don't need rules and stuff to prevent me from cheating, because I mean, that's absurd, right? Like, why would you cheat at a board game that you're just playing with your friends with? Like, that's fucking mental, you know? It just makes no fucking sense at all. So, you know, so we're gonna remove stuff like that when we play and get rid of some of the stressors, make it take more of the like control of what we're gonna do in the game away from the game and into the player. It should be more fun and more rewarding and feel less grindy. So we'll give it a go next week, see how it goes. It might be terrible, might be great. We'll see. Alright. So we have our zombie here. So let's take a look at the different zombies real quick. Let me grab some. So there are a couple more that I don't have primed, but I've got most of them primed. Then we're going to take a look at the zombie boss as well. So this is pretty much all the zombies in the box, minus I think one. So let's see if we can see him good on screen. We can. Okay, so all the zombies, there are going to be lots of really fine details. Like, here's a bird eating the zombie's eye. There's like a tree stump, some grass, some kind of like grave marker spike is going to be on all of these zombies. This one's got some candles on it. You can see this one has like a notice. I guess nobody really liked that guy. This one has a bigger tombstone kind of thing. And they all have this like top of the coffin wood piece as well. Right, so that's there. When I paint these, I'm going to put some texture paint over that after it's painted, so it should look really cool. So, but we have that. They all have some remnants of clothing, maybe remnants of like a belt, something like that. And then we'll have these sort of like divots where they're rotting in. We'll have some broken bone. You can see some bone in his ankle right there. We're gonna have some bits of hair, and we're gonna have bits of skin, and then the roots. So, you know, that's a pretty big color palette. We need a brown for the wood, dirt splatter. We need a brown for the roots. I want that to be a lighter brown. Maybe we'll actually do the trees in gray. That might be neat. But we're gonna need something for that. We're gonna need something for the grass. These kind of like details, they're gonna be different in every zombie, so we're not gonna worry about matching them the same. We don't care about that. Like the bird and stuff, we don't care if they match. Those aren't important. What's going to be important is a rough skin tone, right? And colors for like the bones and stuff like that. For the clothing, we're going to develop a color palette. We're going to pick like 3 different colors, and that's going to do all the clothes on all our zombies. And we'll just pick one randomly when we do it. So the main thing here really is skin tone, right? And if we look at this zombie, again, we have lots of skin. We look at this zombie, even this lady here in her dress has a lot of exposed skin. This other lady in a dress, lots of exposed skin. Alright, so we have a lot of these, like, a lot of skin on these zombies. That's sort of a big deal. So let's try to figure out a base color for that. Because if we look at Gorslav here, we have the same thing, right? We have cloth. We have this wood plank, we've got skin, we have assorted filigrees, we've got bone, his helmet's bone, stuff like that, right? Like he's going to be the very similar color palette to what all these zombies are. So sort of how this guy, you know, this guy, you know, he's matching his troops. I want Gorslav to match his troops. So yeah, so that should be good. All right, so let's figure out our skin color. right? I do think a gray is not a bad idea, because I think if we hit it with Agrax Earthshade afterwards, it should give it like a nice kind of roddy kind of gray color. But we have some other like more like fleshy kind of ones, like this mummy robes here. We could do brain matter beige. Kobold skin. This is more of like a healthy skin tone. Corpse pale. That's a little pinker. Let's see. That's too pink. That's too pink. That's too gray. Because we are looking for something of how it's going to look after the wash. Like I'm straight up debating just doing them in pure gray, to be honest, and then hitting them with like a sepia wash. Let's see what we have here. We have mummy robes is not bad. Neither is corpse pale. I don't really want them to be like a human skin color. I want them to be like kind of like a grayer kind of like not normal color. So let's look at more grays that we have. Here's ash gray. That one's pretty good. It's super dark though. Here's castle gray. It's super dark, but it's got a little bit of brown mixed in it. It's nice. Again, that's another super dark dungeon gray. Necromancer cloak. What are you? You're skeleton bone. We're gonna use you for our bones. Stone golem. I do really like this color. And then I have one called airship interior or spaceship interior. Spaceship exterior. This is more of like a cooler. This is sort of like the warmer version of it. All right, let's try one in stone golem and see how it looks. All right, so we're gonna say this guy. He's gonna be our zombie test, and we're gonna do it in stone golem. So yeah, all this stuff with Cursedcity has been crazy because there's all this drama going on with it, whether or not GW is going to reprint it and stuff, and it's upset a lot of people and screwed up a lot of production schedules for YouTubers I know. Not YouTubers I know. It's produced a lot of production schedules for YouTubers that I know of. There we go. No. It's impacted people, and it sucks, right? So what happened is that someone on Twitter, one of the GW representatives, they were like, oh, it's not coming back to the web store, which implies that it's actually a single run game and not like a continuous running thing, which is what everyone thought Cursedcity was, because there was a ton of marketing and hype and stuff behind it. Honestly, I think it's still in my brain. It's still going to be that. It's just they're having troubles with production because of COVID and Brexit and all that kind of stuff. So like, if it comes out again, it might not come out in like the same kind of format, right? It might be slightly different. The game might be stuff like that. So that's sort of what I'm expecting to happen. I'm expecting to get like, some kind of direction for that hopefully soon. Hopefully GW will say. Like, it doesn't super much matter to me. But it does kill some of the wind for the game, which is a shame because this game had a lot of hype to it. A lot of people were really, really excited for it. But there's clearly something going on with them because they announced today that there won't be any more pre-orders for a little while, which is kind of a big deal because usually they have a new pre-order every week. So, yeah, definitely interesting stuff. We'll see what happens with it for sure. And there we go. All right, so there's some gray. I think that'll look pretty good. Let's put him to the side for the moment, and we'll take that gray. We'll carry it over to Gorslav. So I do think this color is going to work well. But yeah, it's definitely been a crazy thing where people are just trying to like figure out what's going on. And it very much seems like GW is having some production, shipping problems, stuff like that. Maybe having to do with Brexit and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. But yeah, so we'll get to play this hopefully next week. It is going to be a little bit of a crazy busy week. So I don't know how much I'm going to get painted this week, but hopefully next week we'll get to play a game, like a simplified, easier kind of game than the standard rules. You know, something that removing some of the stressors, making the game a little bit easier, especially to play by yourself, right? So when you're managing 4 heroes and you're managing the game and everything, that's a lot of bookkeeping to put on one person. So we're going to try to remove some of that. Just make it a little bit easier. I'm also not a big fan of like living board games, right? Like, I like the idea of being able to just take you know, characters and play them and stuff like that. So moving away from some of the living board game elements that Cursedcity has. Hello. So yeah, so all right. So let's see. He needs his pants painted next. So one of the colors we're going to add to our palette for that is going to be Xandru Dusk, because I love this color. It is one of my faves. And it's just a really nice kind of like khaki brown. Oh, that's actually skin. My bad. Zombie, why are you so hard to see? So legit tip, if you are having trouble seeing the model like that, when it's primed, you know, in white or black, and you don't plan on using that color as is, hit it with a wash. Because it'll fill those details in and not obscure them, so it makes them easier to see when you're painting. And give you some idea of where stuff starts and ends if you're having trouble seeing it. Because I definitely am having some trouble seeing it on this guy. Especially like where his cloth starts and versus skin and stuff like that. All the browns and tans and stuff ever. There we go. I think I have some dirt splatter still in the palette drawer. Wet? Nice, I do. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll do the board in this color. Again, I'm going to hit this with some texture paint after it's all done drying, because I think that will look super cool and look kind of like mud and stuff that's on the top of the gravestone. I think that'll be really neat. So the real question is, how am I going to base some of these Cursedcity models? Like, because like these guys, I would like them to be like on dirty, kind of like muddy bases, But the skeletons, I want them to be in like city bases. But I also kind of want them all to be the same base. So it's this really weird question of just how are you going to choose to base them all. There we go. There we go. All right. Now he's got that big stake running through him that looks like metal to me, so we'll break out some shining silver for that. And actually his grave marker looks like metal to me as well, so we'll probably do that in shining silver and then pick some of the details out with another color afterwards, like the bell and stuff like that. We'll do the bell in brass, and the candles and stuff. We'll pick those out afterwards. Yeah, a lot of people did not like these zombie models, which I think is kind of lame. I think they have this really cool, like I was just ripped out of the graveyard look to them. But a lot of people did not dig that, which I think is sad. Because this place is technically in like the realm of the dead, so the fact that they would like instinctively stake their people down so they don't come back up, I think makes a lot of sense. But apparently a lot of people were not into that. So, alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that one. And then I got a lot of silver out, so we'll go ahead and we'll do the stakes and stuff for a couple other spots, just so we'll use that paint as best we can. There we go. And there we go. Oh, that's pretty thick, so we'll pull that around. Don't put too much on there. Same things with the shoulder spikes. And his hook here that he's using to pull the zombies up. I do like that the Gravekeeper has become this like horrible like zombie demon. It's very interesting, especially with this like giant bladed bladed trowel. Trowel, it's the wrong word. Bladed like shovel. I think it's really neat. Go. Nice. Some of my keys here. We'll do those too. Yep. I just had some silver in a hole that I couldn't pull out, so then we want to get the handle there. There we go. Alright, so just using up some of that silver since I've got it out. We'll do some more stakes and stuff. So she's got a big old one going right through her too. She has a fence. Do we want to do the fence in silver, or do we want to do the fence in like brass or something? We'll hit it with silver for now. That'll let us think later, because the silver, it'll show dirt and stuff better than like brass would. So we'll just keep that running, right? This is another guy with the same grave marker. So the way these zombies come, I showed it off in the unboxing. They come on basically 5 on a runner, and you can switch the faces for them. So like, ironically, I picked up. Did I build these guys exactly the same? I guess I did. Well, some of them you can switch the faces on. I think it's 4 out of them you can swap the faces on. And basically it makes them slightly different. I guess this guy's the same on all of them. Which is weird, but okay. Yeah, so like here's one, and then... Or, let me find one, hold on. Her and her. Yeah, so like... Oh, okay, yeah. See the, like... Okay, so the face and the back is the same piece. I should have known that. I built these fucking things. So like her and her, the face and the back is the same piece, but like look at the stance. Like it's totally different. These guys actually have a different stance. So this guy's got like the broken ankle, and this guy's sort of limping forward. So... Just using up the silver. This guy doesn't even have a fucking gravestone. He's just got like a notice board like, here lies dude that we hanged. He was a serial rapist or whatever. Don't dig him up, please. Okay, thanks. The lady in the pretty dress, she has the bigger, kind of noble looking grave. But yeah, I'm trying to stay away from doing them in like green and stuff like I normally would. Just because, you know, in my brain they're like, oh, you should paint them like the Poxwalkers. And then I was like, no, they're not. They're not Nurgle zombies, so they really shouldn't look like my Poxwalkers. Alright. Man, I got a lot of silver out by accident. Damn. But it's all good. You don't want to waste paint, you know? I'd rather at least get, you know, slapdash, a little bit of a coat down than, you know, totally waste it. So, let's see. This guy's got an axe and a hammer, so we'll hit those as well. Just trying to use up this paint, you know. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the Vampire Hunter model is like the coolest freaking thing ever. He's just so freaking cool. So I'll have to clean this up, of course, but just trying to get some paint down, you know, in different bits and bobs here and there. There we go. And that's the last of this all work. So, don't even get me started. Don't you dare. Woman. Looking at you. Don't you get me started, goddammit. Alright? That was my evening. I'm talking to her I miss Chris comment. Because I too also miss Chris. But it is what it is. You gotta keep on keeping on. Alright. Let's pick a color to do his tree. What color do we want the tree to be? Ironically, Oak Brown. We're using Oak Brown. Well, in happier news than my friend leaving the hobby, I got to play my first game of 40K yesterday in almost a year. So that's super cool. I went over to Armchair Adventure, which is a store down in Honolulu on Nimitz Highway. And I got a game in against Keith, the owner's Emperor's Children. That's what he has. He has an army of Emperor's Children. We played a 1,000-point open war game where he mercilessly stomped the hell out of me. But it was a blast. It was a super blast. Me and him were still trying to remember our roles, remember what our dudes did and stuff, and it was a really good time. And honestly, it was like the perfect match to get back into playing 40K. You know, because I didn't perfectly remember my roles, and neither did he, and it was a good time. I got to put a knight on the table, which was also really, really fun. I love the knights. They're one of my favorite things in Warhammer. I got to put a knight on the table. I brought out the Anxious Wolf. He was a Chaos Knight. Normally he's a Free Blade. But he was a Chaos Knight this time because I thought we were going to play 25 points, and then Keith had 50 points worth of stuff. So I'm happy I brought a knight. Otherwise, we would have had to change the game up. So, thing about knights, you can just add them to almost any army, which is really cool. So, but yeah, it was a hell of a game. I had a really, really good time. I ended up killing his Demon Prince with my fetid bloat drone, which was really funny. But besides that, my knight had some really bad rolls, like super bad rolls, and I wasn't mitigating them properly. He got lit up in the beginning and then basically just never recovered. But that's how it goes sometimes. We were also starting really, really, really close to each other, which didn't help my poor knight out at all, because he was really built for he had a battle cannon, which means he can't use a lot of that in melee, so that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And it was a really good time. I had a blast, and Keith was a really good guy, and it really was like the perfect match to get back into big 40K. Once I get my Skaven magnetized, I might be hitting up another friend for a similar match for AOS, like a let's remember the rules kind of match. Because I know I certainly don't. You know, I've only played a couple games at AOS, but I'm really looking like to get a little bit more into AOS than I am right now. I have my Seraphon army that I want to build next time there's an escalation league here on Island. I'm really, really excited about them. My husband got me most of that for Christmas, and I've been sort of chomping at the bit, waiting to build them, but not building them yet because I want to build them like for like a league or something like that. I think that will be more fun than just being like, here's my new army, you know. So I can wait. just touching up some details here. Making sure this gravestone is painted all the way through and around and stuff. And probably missed a root here and there, so we'll hit those as well. And missed some roots here in the back of the head, just like that. But yeah, it was really, really fun. I gotta get the hang of the new Death Guard rules. There's a lot of new rules. Like there's this new Contagion rule thing I totally forgot about. Stuff like that. They changed a lot in the new codex, but it's all good. It's all good. I'll get the hang of them, and then I will kick some ass with my Death Guard. There we go. Alright. Alright, we might have to change brushes here. Yeah, we gotta swap brushes. Alright, this one's just too big for the rest of these little details. So, what color should we paint his beard? Let's give him a gray beard. So, we had our grays out a minute ago. Ash gray. Let's get out some ash gray. I'm going to get us out some necromancer cloak. We're going to use necromancer cloak on the bird. So he's got all of this. This guy's got like a beard kind of thing. Goes like this. It's kind of hard to see and really hard to paint. Oh, that's a root. Okay. Yeah. Definitely, if you're going to paint these guys light colors like this, I would definitely recommend hitting them with a wash. Because there are a lot of really fine details in here that are super, super hard to see. They're probably even harder to see on camera, Jesus. Oh yeah, see there's roots going all the way down the arm too. I totally missed. I love all these fine details, but I was not expecting them. So I apologize if they're a little hard to see. Didn't think they'd be that bad, but yeah, definitely way more detailed than I was expecting, that's for sure. Alright, we got to clean up that chest a little bit there. And the head a little bit too. Paint our bird in. So we have that necromancer cloak out. But yeah, 40k is a blast. It's a real good time. Super, super enjoy it. I always get so excited for playing the armies, and then I always forget what the hell they do. And I'm like, all right, I can do this, and I can do this, I can do this, and then I put my models on the table, and I'm just like, that's so cool. And I forget what the fuck I'm doing. I got to get back in that kill team mindset where I actually can play competitively, at least a little bit, you know. Like you don't always have to be super competitive, but you don't want to just be like cannon fodder for your enemy either. You know, you want to give them a good game. And that's the bird blocked in. Let's block in the grass, and then we'll set this guy to the side to dry a little bit. What time is it? 10:46. Okay. Let's block in the grass, and then I have to go check on my husband. And yeah. So this is just Death Guard green. I figured it would be kind of a weird pale green for the grass. I didn't want to do something like super vibrant, like Warpstone Glow or anything like that. So. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's hit that brass bell with some brass, or true copper, I guess is the color we're gonna use. Let's hit that bell and some of the tombstone stuff, and then we'll, God damn, I got a lot of that out by accident. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take a break. And I might stream again this afternoon a little bit, depending on what happens. Or I might stream this evening later. But yeah, let me go ahead and get some of this in. This guy still has a ton of details we need to pick out. But I will probably do washes next. Just to make getting to those details easier, because my eyes just cannot see them today. We're gonna, since I got so much of this out by accident, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit these. This one's gonna be silver. This one's gonna be brass. The other one will do silver, so there's some differentiation between them. Just like that. Alright, and then we're going to do this guy. His thing, we'll do it in silver. It hit in brass as well. So that again, there's some differentiation versus the other one. I do want some similarities between all the models, like all their stakes being silver and stuff, but the ones especially that have repeated elements, I don't want them to look the same. So... But yeah, GW's got everything on pause, so we're gonna figure that out, you know, see what's gonna happen there. Sadly, it means the Sisters Codex and the AdMech Codex are probably gonna be delayed. Just kind of a shame because I've been waiting for that Paragon Warsuit for a while. I might be repainting the Sisters. I have done though. We'll talk about that next time. I'm trying out some different stuff. I really liked the shiny purple I had for them in the beginning, but I don't know about now. It's kind of wearing on me. We'll see. Alright, and that's it for me. I'll call it there. I'll go check on my husband, and I might stream again later today. But thank you for watching. And hopefully it was fun to take a look at some of the paints that I got, and then to get a little bit of our zombie buddy done here. He's got a long way to go still, but we did also finish up some of our skelly bones, some of our fancy skelly bones, so we got them done at least, which is cool. Alright, I'm going to call it there. Thank you for watching, and hopefully